tell me about your week.
It was all right. It wasn't, I thought it was going to be a better week, but it wasn't. I got into an argument with my husband.
Okay.
I went back the day after we talked in our last session. I kind of wanted to have an open conversation about, the issues I've been having.
That's good.
Yeah, it just led into a fight. And I just felt very misunderstood once again. So that same night, I went out with some friends. I had a couple of drinks. I came back home drunk, and we got into another fight because I was driving drunk, and then this whole spiral started again. Just, I don't know.
So let's go back. You said that you went home and you talked to your husband, and then you guys had an argument and you felt misunderstood. What was the argument about? How would you say you approached it, maybe?
Well, I just said, I feel a lot of pressure about, trying to get pregnant. And he said, I'm not pressuring you, but you're not doing anything good for yourself. I just felt like he was putting me down a lot. So that is just kind of I want to talk about how we can, fix issues and, what it is I can do. But, I just feel very criticized by him.
So when he was telling you that you weren't doing everything that you were supposed to be doing, you felt like he was criticizing you.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you said you felt misunderstood. Tell me more about how else you feel like that you feel misunderstood by him.
I just feel like he doesn't know where I'm coming from, and I just feel like he doesn't understand that it is very hard for me, the fact that I can't get pregnant. And I feel like he blames me, like it's my fault that this is not happening. And that hurts a lot. And I feel like I just can't get through to him.
So because you feel like he blames you, that's something that hurts you a lot. Have you told him that?
Not directly. I mean, it's something that I feel like I don't need to tell him that, He should know me by now. I already feel, blame and guilt as it is. Just I feel like he doesn't know how to talk to me.
How do you feel like he should know that about you because he knows you, that you're hurting?
I guess by my actions.
Like, what are some actions that you show him that you're in pain?
Probably me going out constantly, not wanting to be home, not wanting to be around him, and the drinking.
What about the drinking?
I mean, I guess it's something, he seems to be really bothered by it, and instead of, talking to me and asking me, hey, this is, an issue, like you should be doing this, I just feel like he attacks me. So I feel like he doesn't understand, he doesn't know how to ask me, hey, why are you doing that? What's going on?
And you wish that he would ask instead of just criticize and assume.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think that you are doing the same?
In what way?
When you say he should know how I feel, he should know that I'm hurting because he knows me, without you directly telling him. Do you feel like maybe you guys both engage in some mind reading almost?
I guess I never looked at it that way. I guess I just expect him to understand, and I never really looked at how he felt.
I think an important thing to note is that you do care about his feelings because you care to fix it. It seems like you're not really sure how to do that.
Yeah.
What are some things that you feel like you can maybe do to express how you're feeling?
I mean, I really tried talking to him, but I feel like he's so angry with me. He's so angry by the way, I've been acting, by not being present, by being away, by this apparently me being an alcoholic. So it's hard for me to communicate. It's hard for me to try and say how I feel, and because I just feel like he's come to the point where he just won't even try and understand me. He just kind of like gets angry at me and just says, you need to stop, and you need to, you gotta put your shit together, and and then I just kind of like, I just give up, just kind of don't even want to deal with it. So I just go. And
it sounds like when he criticizes you, you kind of just shut down.
In a way, yeah.
What are some good things about that, do you think? Like shutting down and going to drink. What do you think are some good things that come out of it?
I guess I get to see my friends and we talk it out. I feel like, they just help me out a lot because I feel like very understood by them.
So what's some feedback that you've gotten from your friends about the situation?
I don't really get any feedback. I just kind of like, I feel like they're on my side more than they're on his side, and they kind of understand what I'm going through. Because a lot of my friends are having their own issues, so we kind of get together and a couple of drinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like you don't get much feedback from them?
I mean, not really. Just get more support, I guess.
So it sounds like you go to your friends because you need support in the moment, maybe not advice.
Yeah.
Who are some people that you feel like you can go to get some advice? Maybe someone who's more mutual, because you said a lot of your friends are on your side, which is normal because they're your friends and they care about you.
He's the only person I could really talk to.
Your husband?
Yeah, he's my best friend. Something happened where, he's not. He's the only person I could ever come to for advice or anything that's going on in my life.
How do you think things were different before you started drinking?
Well, we definitely communicated better and got along better. He treated me differently. He treated me with respect. He listened. I listened.
So before the drinking, you felt like he listened and you were more listening, and maybe you guys understood each other a lot better before the drinking. What do you think about that?
I mean, that sounds really terrible now, that I
Why is that terrible?
think about it. I don't know. I guess I just, like I said, I don't think that I have a drinking problem, so I don't understand why he's so angry. It's just, I feel like ever since, I couldn't get pregnant, these issues started, and I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't think about it that way.
So you say that you still think that you don't have a drinking problem.
I mean, I don't. I guess at our last session and when I had to fill out the questionnaire, when I looked at it, I realized that when I was filling it out, I like, it looked really bad, but like when I'm outside of it, when I'm like physically there, when I'm there, I just don't think it's.
So when you're feeling it and seeing it maybe on paper versus when you go out with your friends and have, one too many, it's not the same.
No, it just makes more, I guess it makes more sense to what he's trying to tell me is as to when I saw how much I drank, but I didn't think I was drinking that much.
Okay. So what was so bad about when you took the questionnaire in the first session?
I guess it's kind of scary, just kind of like made me realize what's really going on, I guess, in a way. So
what do you think frightened you the most? Because you said that was kind of scary.
Then it might be ruining my life and my relationships. But it's my, like, it's I'm not saying drinking is my getaway. I'm just saying, like, getting together with friends is my getaway.
It seems like you're conflicted a lot. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know.
Or I could be wrong.
Conflicted in what way?
Well, you mentioned that before you started drinking, things were a lot better in your relationships and with your husband, and you got along and you felt understood. And then the drinking occurred, and then you state, I don't have a problem really, right?
But I always used to drink. I mean, just socially. I guess it just became more of a. Yeah, I guess I would go out like Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. on Saturday. I know I'm conflicted. Because it's like I know after talking to you last time and looking at like the hard proof, kind of I know it looks really bad, and it I didn't really think about it that way. So, but then it's like at the same time I'm like I'm not an alcoholic. Like I don't drink every day.
Well, I told you last time, right? Your addiction, if that is what you want to call it, right, doesn't have to define who you are as a person. You're still you. You have great qualities about you. You care about people. You care about your friends. You do care about your husband as much as you guys are in arguments right now. You do have good qualities about you. This is just something maybe that's getting in the way of a better quality of life. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess.
How would things be different if you stopped drinking tomorrow? Like if you were to wake up tomorrow and you no longer had the problem with, having to go and drink every time something happens, right? How do you think your life would be different?
Well, according to him and
your husband,
and some family members, I would be in a better, healthy body, healthy mind, and I feel like maybe I would be able to kind of confront the issues, maybe not get so angry right away and try and run away, but kind of like keep dealing with things. It's just I feel like I've just given up and I just like walk away and I can't deal with things.
It seems like you have the need and the want maybe to change it. It just seems like it's really difficult for you to do that.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm here.
What do you think is the hardest part about this?
I guess accepting that it is a problem.
Okay. So how do you think you would go about doing that?
I just need some help from him.
Well, so if your husband were here with us right now, what would you say to him?
I would say I'm sorry. This is why I'm doing this, or this is why I feel that way, and I don't want to like blame him for anything. I would just ask for a little bit more understanding and support, and then maybe I wouldn't have the need, to run away. Maybe, I could kind of like reconnect with him again.
What would you say to him about some things that he's doing maybe that are not so supportive? It seems like you just want him to listen and to support you versus just maybe getting angry and criticizing you about the drinking.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. I would just say, speak lightly, I guess. Don't accuse me of these things. Like, I get it. It's come out of hand a little bit. But I would just ask that I'm not judged, or, maybe talk to me peacefully. Maybe try and put yourself in my position, and as a woman, as, I'm trying to be a mother, and,
How would you say this is hard for you as a woman? It seems like that's the part that's kind of hurting the most.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm incapable. So I feel like all the blame that I already feel, maybe I'm feeling a little bit more blame from him than he's actually giving me, because I just feel like I'm not able to, give him, family, give him what he needs. I feel like my body's not, either ready or whatever the issue is.
It sounds like you blame yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I guess, I don't know, it hurts. I just feel like there's something wrong with me.
You also say that you feel like you're being judged. Do you feel like you judge yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you have to judge yourself about?
Well, I guess just not, I guess I'm not like the normal like woman that, you wanted a family, I'm going to give you a family, and the fact that I like to go out with my friends, and I guess like I feel like I'm not good enough, I make a lot of mistakes.
That you feel like you made a lot of mistakes?
Yeah, and I guess, I just realized like it's not okay for me to, instead of dealing with problems, I'm running away from them, and I'm causing more and more issues by drinking. you know, so I feel very bad about that. But then it's like, you know, I come home and I'm trying to talk to you and I'm trying to fix this, but you're yelling at me and you're screaming, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drink more. So, you know,
what does the drinking do for you in that moment?
Just relaxes me, I guess. It relaxes me. It helps me just not have that anxiety and not feel that pressure.
So if you were to go home, and by the way, it's really brave that after the first session you went home and were open and willing to talk to him. I think that's very brave of you. And so I think that's something that you also have. That's a strength that you can use to overcome this. What do you think? What are some other strengths that you have? You're caring. You're very brave.
Yeah.
It seems like, you know, you would be a good mom, the way you talk about motherhood and being a woman.
I know I would be. It's just I feel like I went down this hole and I can't swim out. I'm very loving. I'm very caring. I love taking care of other people. I'm hardworking. So I guess, you know, there's things that I've kind of forgotten about myself.
Yeah, because you blame yourself. I think you also judge yourself for, oh, I can't be, you know, I can't have this addiction. I can't have this. Or, you know, I'm not really good enough. I think a lot of the times, and that's just natural, where humans just generally gravitate towards, you know, all the negative things that they have. And they forget about the positives that they can use.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went out, right? And then you said you had a couple of drinks and you came home and then you got into another argument with your husband. What was that argument about?
Well, he was just pissed because I left in the middle of the fight that we had earlier. And he was just mad that I left again in the middle of the night, and in fact I drove drunk again. And then I came home and he was just saying how I need to stop, and I just kept drinking. I kept pouring myself more alcohol when I was at home.
And so that's something that we call like FU drinking. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No.
But typically when people blame you for certain things, you kind of do it as like an FU behavior. You do it because you want to maybe make them more mad, or you want to prove to them that you're going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. I was angry in that moment. It was kind of like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I was just kind of like, well, you keep talking. I'm going to keep doing this. I was just angry and drunk.
It seems like every time you get upset or angry, you feel the need to have a drink. What would happen if you didn't drink? Like, let's say you have an argument with your husband again and you didn't drink. What would happen?
I don't know, honestly. I don't remember last time we were able to talk things out. I feel like maybe, I don't know. It's like, I feel like as if I don't know any other way.
Well, you mentioned that before the drinking, your relationship with him was different, right?
Yeah.
He was more caring, he listened more, you were able to have a normal conversation without argument.
I think I just got lost. I got lost, and, I would, instead of, telling him all these feelings, I just feel like I was so hurt and with everything going on that I didn't want to like burden him more with the things that I was dealing with. So I would run away, and that made it easier. So now it's like I've forgotten how to talk to him. I feel like if I didn't run away and just kind of like dealt with the issue, even if we were fighting, things would turn out much better, because that's how we used to figure things out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were not to drink when you would get angry, you feel like maybe you would resolve the conflict that you're having.
Or maybe I can just, take a walk, maybe step away for a couple of minutes instead of just, trying to go and pour down a couple of drinks, talk to some friends.
And you mentioned that your friends don't give you much advice.
No, yeah, I just it's literally like going to just not think about it. You know, I'll tell them, we'll do a little bit of, we'll talk some smack, and then just kind of go on with the conversation about something completely different. But I don't come back feeling any better about it, you know.
If anything, it seems like it's worse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you come home and then you have another argument and then you drove drunk and there's a lot of consequences to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, I get so pissed off because I guess I am in a conflict where it's like, no, I don't have a problem, but I do have a problem. And it's kind of like I'm having trouble like, admitting that to myself.
Because
so now that you say it, it's like, and I feel like I'm like blaming him when it's really just me. You know?
I think it's natural to blame other people when we don't want to accept certain things about ourselves. So you're being hard on yourself again. And I think you do that a lot.
Yeah, I do.
You mentioned that your husband mostly gets angry at you about the drinking. And then you mentioned that, you feel like you're not maybe good enough for him because, you can't get pregnant in this moment. So it seems like he's more upset with you about the drinking versus I'm upset with you because you can't get pregnant and give me babies.
Yeah. And I mean, he never said that to me. Yeah.
It sounds like, and I could be wrong, that he's just concerned about you.
Yeah.
About you and your safety. I think that's why he gets angry when you drink and drive, and I think you also know some of the consequences of that.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
If you could change the drinking part, okay, just hypothetically, how would you go about making this change?
I mean, I guess I would just have to keep myself busy with certain things, maybe get some more hobbies, maybe find like a ventilation system other than going to dinner and having drinks with friends, because that's, like I said, that's what I used to do. I used to just train and then do some yoga and mindfulness. I just feel like in all this mess I've lost myself, and all the hobbies that I've had. And it's so hard to like get back into that when all I'm thinking about is like this, constantly fighting with him, and I feel like everything's falling apart.
Sometimes when we have a conflict, right, if it's like an argument with a spouse or with a friend, or if it is addiction, we have a problem with drinking, that's where our main focus is, that we forget the hobbies that we were engaging in, we forget our values. Do you feel like that's something you can relate to? Because you talk about all of a sudden I lost all my hobbies.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I don't remember last time I've done something for myself in that sense.
What are there things that you and your husband like to do together? Maybe that is a time that you can bond, that you can talk about certain things. Maybe, not always have an argument at the house. Maybe go out to dinner somewhere.
Yeah, no. We used to train together. We used to go for walks together and paint together. We'll go to comedy shows. We did a lot of things together. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wish we could just get back into doing those things.
How would you go about getting into that?
I feel like I just need to set myself straight first. Maybe kind of like avoid the dinners and the drinks with friends, and maybe just focus more on myself, and kind of like finding peace with everything. And now that you say it, maybe like understand that he's just trying to help me, and then I feel like maybe once that's kind of in order, me and him could kind of, maybe I'll be more like at peace, and I won't have the need to drink or like run away once I'm kind of like physically and mentally stable.
What do you think would be like the worst thing about making that change? What are some like not so good things that would happen if you were to change that? If the drinking wasn't an issue?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I wouldn't socialize as much.
Okay.
with my friends. This is just, everybody's busy. Everybody, most of my friends are married and have children. This is how we get together, and once or twice a week. I guess my social life wouldn't be as
Rich,
busy.
maybe.
Yeah.
Are there other things that you feel like you could do with those friends? Sometimes when a commonality between people and friends is to drink, then they tend to lose their friends, and that's really hard. Is that something that you feel like you might be afraid of? It sounds like you're concerned about losing that aspect of you.
Yeah. I guess I didn't think about it. Because there's other things we can do. We don't have to always go to dinner. And
what are some things you could do? What are some sober activities that you feel like you and your friends can engage, so you don't have to lose that important
Well, I mean, I
piece?
used to make dinner. Me and my husband would make dinner and invite people over. It's just that ever since, everything, I just kind of been wanting not to be at home.
Okay.
So, we could invite them over. We could, have game nights, and if we need, if we're gonna hang out, maybe they could even help me and go to yoga with me or something instead of,
You mentioned that you like to paint and do like mindfulness activities.
Yeah.
What are some mindfulness things you like to do? You said yoga. That's one of the things that you like doing.
Meditate. Read.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like a book club? Like maybe having getting together and like reading a particular book or discussing events or something.
Yeah.
Some people do that.
Yeah, we actually have a friend. We talked about that. I might try that. Why not? Maybe it's a different way of engaging, I guess.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you feel like this is the worst thing that would happen if the drinking stopped? Besides, maybe you would lose a couple of friends, but you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. I guess I feel like it was my only way of getting away. But I feel like if I kind of set things straight with myself, I won't have to feel the need to get away.
You talk about running away and getting away and not wanting to be in the house. Why do you think, what are you trying to run away from? Because everywhere you go, right, you take yourself with you. So what do you think you're trying to run away from?
I think just from him telling me what I need to hear. Okay. In a way.
So they say your best friend is like looking in the mirror. Do you feel like maybe he's right about some things that he's been telling you?
I think so.
Could he be a little softer when he tells you it? Probably.
Yeah. Not be so angry at me. Yeah.
It seems like he gets angry, then you get angry, and then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere. How does he feel about you being in treatment?
Well, he wanted me to go, so he's happy that I'm here.
How about you? Do you feel like you're happy to be here?
Yeah, I mean, it really helped me, the last couple of sessions, especially the last one. The fact that I even kind of realized that this is a problem. I think that's helping me kind of put things into a different perspective. Okay. So I could maybe do things a little bit differently, so my life could be better and my relationship could be better. I know he's happy that I'm here, and I feel like if he's happy, then I'm happy, and I feel like now that I talk to you, things kind of clear up a little bit. I never really thought about it that way, and it's nice to talk to someone, because I love my friends and all that, but it's just you don't want to tell them really all your issues and all the details, and so it's nice to just kind of get a different point of view.
Okay. Yeah. What are some good things that you think would come out of the change? If you were to make a change and stop drinking, what would be some good things that would come out of it?
Well, just a healthier person, healthier. I feel like I would be a healthier individual. Kind of get back to myself and maybe set some new goals and figure out really what's going on with me. And
what would be some goals that you want to set for yourself that you'd want to achieve?
I guess first one would be, like we said, I guess not to go out as much.
Well, I think that can be managed in a way that you can go out. You just don't have to necessarily engage in activities that involve drinking. So it's, I think for you it's important to go out because you talk about that. Like, I want to go out and I want to go hang out with my friends. And it seems like that's almost daunting to you that if I stop drinking, I wouldn't be able to go out. You can still do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Are there any other benefits, do you think, to you maybe changing some drinking patterns of yours and stopping drinking?
I don't know if I can completely stop drinking.
Okay.
I feel like I'm always gonna be like a social drinker. Maybe I just need to really just cut down, set a certain limit. And I feel like when I set certain boundaries and limits, then everything else kind of flows and I can, maybe kind of balance out everything else, in my life.
Usually when people say I want to cut down, that's really hard, right? If you could have one drink, you wouldn't be here today, right?
Right.
So if you could have one, then you wouldn't have to have maybe 7 or 8, like you talked about, in just one sitting in one night, because maybe you want to forget about it or you don't want to be angry, you want to relax. So usually people that come here can't manage just having one drink. What do you think about that? When you talk about, I can just cut down and be a social drinker.
I mean, I guess if I could just set a boundary for myself and say, okay, I'm just going to have one drink, otherwise I'm going to end up here again and I'm going to have issues again. Not that I don't like coming to see you, it's just that I feel like I'm an adult, I can control myself. I don't know.
So we do this coping skill, right? That's called playing the tape forward. And so I'm going to kind of run through it with you and then you can just answer some of my questions, right? So let's say you were to go home and have one drink tonight. What's going to happen after the one drink?
At home?
Or like when you go out with your friends. Think about your typical, sitting down with your friends, you're angry at your husband, you'd maybe go and you'd have one drink. What would happen after that?
I would leave and go home.
But you usually can't stop at one, correct?
Yeah.
So when you would have one, what would happen after that?
I'd probably have another one.
And then what would happen after
Probably
that?
have another one.
Then what would happen after that?
Probably have another one.
And then what would happen after
Yeah.
that? Go ahead, just play it through.
Probably have another one.
And then when do you think you would stop?
When he's texting me, where are you?
Okay. So when he texts you, where are you? What happens after that?
And then I leave and I go home.
But okay, let's back up, right? So you're leaving. Are you driving? So you sit in the car and you're already kind of buzzed or drunk, maybe, right? And then you're sitting in the car and you're driving intoxicated. What could happen?
I could get pulled over.
Then what would happen?
Then I would get arrested.
Then what would happen?
I would go to jail.
Then what would
I'd
happen?
probably lose my job.
Then what would happen?
Probably would have a problem with my relationship.
Then what would happen?
I would go to court, lose a lot of money.
So a lot of the times, right, the skill is not meant to like badger you. It's not meant to, put you down. It's meant to just kind of walk you through the situation of what would probably happen. Because the pattern that you talk about is kind of the same for you, right? You want to escape, you want to get away, you go out, you want to avoid your husband, you don't want to argue with him. And then all of these things happen, right? So maybe that's something that you can do for yourself, right? When you go out with your friends, just kind of be like, if I had this one drink, I would have another one and another one. And literally walk yourself through it until you feel like, maybe I shouldn't just even have this drink.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Or even like, let's say you weren't to get pulled over, right? And get arrested and lose your job and all of these other consequences and legal problems and financial problems because of the court. Like, let's say you were to get home. What happens when you get home?
I get into a fight with my husband.
Then what happens after that?
And we don't talk.
I know.
Then I leave.
I know. And I know that it's annoying and, it's a lot. But like I said, I think it's very brave of you to even just after the last session try new things. And I think that you have that in you. I think that you're the type of person that's willing to do whatever it takes because it seems like you really care about your husband. And he seems like he genuinely cares about you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for being honest.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Well,
it.
thanks for helping me be honest.
Yeah, no problem. So maybe next time you can bring your husband, we can do like a family session.
Yeah, I think he would be up for that. Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about some like assertive communication between the two of you.
Yeah.
Just to maybe, even like uplift you a little bit, so we can kind of get you back into, this is what I liked that we used to do before. This is what I liked, that we engaged in before. So how do we get back to that? Because it's not too late for you to do that. I think his biggest problem is he's concerned about your safety when you're out and you're drinking and you're driving.
Yeah. Agreed.
So maybe for next session, just write down some topics that you would like to talk about on the family session.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be nice to have him here so he can see me in a different light, because it's been very hard to like kind of, get through to him, and I'm gonna really try this week and
I think there's just a lot of unsaid things between you guys, and it just comes out very angry, and I feel like that's not that's not very healthy for you guys. So maybe write some topics for next time that you want to talk about. Tell your husband he can also do the same thing. Like, what are some 5 things that you'd want to talk about? And my therapist told me this is what we should do, because when I spoke to him on the phone, he said that he's really willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, I hope you have a good day.
Yeah. Okay? Thank you so much.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.